Or a long time back, one of my harassers was working security. The 2022 Oscars would constantly be recognized as the occasion, with the most notorious slap in history. The issue between Chris Rock and Will Smith is one battle that won't be forgotten for quite a while, despite the fact that it's been barely a year since the occurrence happened. The scar her mission is consistently there. Will Smith has apologized a few times yet on Chris Rock's part. We truly can't say, assuming he has completely acknowledged the expression of remorse. How precisely did he feel? And how did the episode influence him? What has transformed from the hour of the episode till currently? In the present video, Chris Rock opens up on how he feels about Will Smith currently. Take it easy as we dive into every one of the subtleties. Gracious Richard goodness, wow. The subject of how Chris Rock feels would perpetually be a thing as the entertainer took some time prior to discussing the episode. During the 94th yearly foundation grants, Rock poked a fun at Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head when he proposed she ought to be projected in GI quality. To Jada, I love you, G.I. Jane. Also can hardly hold on to see everything just after Pinkett Smith, who has alopecia faint exacerbation at the remark, her better half moved toward the stage and slapped the Saturday Night Live alum. After Will Smith stood out as truly newsworthy for slapping Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars, the comic has tracked down his method for tending to the show at last. Chris Rock has talked for a long time, interestingly, about being slapped by Will Smith during the Oscars, nearly 12 months since the outrage that stunned millions watching all over the planet. Everyone knows, yes, it happened. I got slapped a year prior, Rock said. And individuals resemble, did it hurt? It actually harms. I have mid-year ringing in my ears. Rock seemed tired and baffled as he talked about Smith toward the finish of his stand-up show Specific Shock, which was streamed live on Netflix from the Hippodrome Theater in Baltimore on Saturday night. At first, it was affirmed that Will Smith had attempted to contact Chris Rock, yet it didn't work. They had a go at setting up a confidential gathering. Yet it was as yet affirmed that Stone and Smith didn't communicate secretly after the occurrence. Chris is zeroing in on his visit. The insider said in Late Walk he's continuing on and is anticipating his impending gigs during a satire show that very month. Rock affirmed that he hasn't heard from Smith. I haven't conversed with anybody, regardless of what you might have heard, the adults entertainer told the crowd. As per numerous outlets, Will Smith on his part released an open acknowledgement for his unsuitable and unpardonable activities. One day after the Entertainment Expo, I might want to openly apologize to you, Chris. I was off the mark, and I was off base. I am humiliated that my activities were not demonstrative of the man I need to be. There is a bad situation for viciousness in a universe of affection and generosity. He composed through Instagram. Smith added, I might likewise want to apologize to the Institute, the makers of the show, every one of the participants, and everybody watching all over the planet. I might want to apologize to the Williams family and my Lord Richard family. I profoundly lament that my way of behaving has smudged what has been a generally ravishing excursion for us all. He went on to make a video resolving the issue, yet Chris didn't respond to it. Pinkett Smith, on her part, apparently answered the show when she shared an Instagram quote which peruses, "This is the season for recuperating, and I'm hanging around for it." In the midst of the contention, Smith declared his choice to leave the Institute of Movie Expressions and Sciences. The association would simply not like to condemn that they directed their examination concerning the squabble, which closed with them prohibiting Smith from all Oscars occasions for a very long time as discipline. The 94th Oscars were intended to be a festival of the numerous people locally who accomplished staggering work this previous year anyway. Those minutes were eclipsed by the unsatisfactory and destructive conduct we saw Mr. Smith display in front of an audience. The Institute president, David Rubin, and Chief Ware Hudson expressed in a letter after the load-ups gathering during our broadcast, we didn't sufficiently address what is happening in the space. For this we are sorry. This was a chance for us to set a model for our visitors, watchers, at our foundation family all over the planet. And we miss the mark. I'm ready for the exceptional. The new ruler of Bel Air Alum, anyway, responded to the news-telling page 6. I acknowledge and regard the foundation's choice. After the episode, it seemed like Stone required some investment off as he stayed quiet for quite a while. Days after the episode, Rock responded genuinely after he got support at his parody show in Boston, Massachusetts. You all are getting the teary, he told the group in the midst of praise on Walk 30. And Observer, uncovered solely during an exhibition at the Wilbur Theater in Boston. On Walk 31, Stone supposedly closed down a fan's effort to bug. As per various outlets, Rock over and over said no. When a crowd of people hollered F. Will Smith during the show, Rock snidely said that he had a fascinating week during an appearance with regards to Atlantic City, New Jersey, on April 2nd. Everybody chuckled on the grounds that they understood what he was alluding to. Obviously, a source uncovered this, taking note of that. The entertainer said he was all the while handling late occasions. He poked a fun at how Atlantic City is excessively near Philly for him to get into it. The overall energy of the comment was that Atlantic City could be a threatening area since it's so near Philly. It was said in a relaxed, kidding way. And everybody snickered. On the 10th of April, Rock pondered his perspective following the dramatization. Life is great. My hearing back. He kidded at a satire show in Palm Springs, California. As per the Desert Sun paper, I'm okay. I have an entire show. And I'm not discussing that until I get compensated. After Dave Chappelle was gone after in front of an audience at a May 2022 celebration, Rock later attempted to ease up the state of mind by asking the group, was that Will Smith? Anybody who says words heard has never been hit right upside the head. Rock kidded during a stand-up presentation in Homeville, New Jersey. On July 24th, an onlooker told us solely, I'm not a casualty. He later added, definitely that hurt, yet I transported that off and went to work the following day. I don't go to the emergency clinic for a paper cut. For pretty much every show Chris will go to after the occurrence happened, his crowd needed him to continuously discuss his relationship with Will Smith. During an unexpected appearance at a New York parody club, Rock tended to the circumstance. After the crowd brought the point up, he got in front of an audience and said, bring down your assumptions. I won't address that an onlooker had detailed about the April 6th show, noticing that the group was going wild for the comic. During an August 28th set in Phoenix, Arizona, Rock purportedly said he declined and proposed to have the 2023 Oscars. And many individuals were contemplating whether that is what terrible the episode had meant for him. Chris had anyway kidded that getting back to the foundation grants would ask returning to a crime location and reference the homicide preliminary of O.J. Simpson. While making sense of his thinking in September 2022, Stone supposedly depicted Smith as similarly as revolting as most of us. While in front of an audience during his UK visit with Dave Chappelle, he expressed this in the wake of being asked by Scheffel, assuming that hurt. The main 5 entertainer answered, got him right. The person hit me over a monster joke. The most pleasant joke I at any point told, he supposedly added, shriveled the impression of an ideal individual for a very long time. And he ripped his veil off. Anything the results are, I genuinely want to believe that he doesn't return his cover on once more and gives his genuine face. Inhale, I see myself access the 2 men, eventually bunches of individuals, felt for Chris and cause him to feel like a casualty. Despite the fact that he was a casualty, he tended to it and opposed being a casualty. I'm not a casualty, but rather I'm not a casualty child. You won't ever see me on Oprah. Gale crying Roxa during his Netflix stand-up unique specific shock. In Walk 2023, you won't ever see me crying about it. Never going to happen, he added. Anybody who says words heard has never been smacked directly upside the head. Anyone that says words hurt has never been hit upside the head. That Chris Rock has moved past the occurrence and has had a ton happening for him post the Oscars grant from his Netflix show, where he discussed the Will Smith issue to various facilitating gigs. It's barely a year now. And there might be no animosity between the two again that is in support of today. Folks, what is your take on Chris Shakes and Will Smith's relationship? Presently, do you figure they will at any point turn out to be dearest companions sometime or another? Let us in on your thought process in the remark segment underneath. And if you haven't, guarantee you buy into our feed so you miss no new updates from us.